Yo, becoming a good fighter in Fortnite is probably one of the hardest things aspiring professionals have to learn in order to have a chance against the mess of other competitors. The problem is that most people think about fighting in a very narrow and straightforward way, which keeps them placing top 5k in tournaments. They mainly focus on improving their aiming, building and editing skills. Wait, what? There is more than that? To be honest, mastering these three essentials only opens the entrance to what makes you an actual good fighter, which is fighting IQ. With that being said, I won't focus on these beginner skills as everyone tells you how you can improve these anyway, and I have made some thoroughly educating videos on these as well, just if you are interested. For this video, however, I will dive deeper on what pros and I mean with fighting IQ, because that term is pretty wishy-washy. For the video's clarity purpose, I will split it into three parts, that is strengths, weaknesses, and in the end I will give you some tips that will skyrocket your fighting skill short term. Let's get started. Generally said, you can define fighting IQ as the ability to apply the correct move on a specific situation. The better your fighting IQ is, the more often you will be able to act appropriately. The worse, the less often you make the correct move, and as a consequence of this formula, experience is the number one parameter that defines your level of fighting IQ. That explains why pros are that good on a consistent basis. Luckily though, you can contribute to how good your fighting IQ is by enhancing your strengths and figuring out your weaknesses. As I want to talk about your strengths first, a crucial thing for you to understand is that focusing on these and refining them makes it possible to reach your maximum of possible fighting IQ. However, if you haven't balanced your weaknesses, enabling your full potential won't be possible at all, so it is important to master both of them. The first thing I want you to do is to analyze your playstyle and write down one thing that is unique for your playstyle. For me, it was my incredible aim and clutch potential. I really want you to write it down now, somewhere. 3 things you're better at and 1 thing that you're especially good at. Maybe in notes, maybe in your practice Discord. You can also send your mom a WhatsApp. I do not care. Writing it down will help you become aware of it and therefore manifest it. Implementing your strength correctly will from now on be your secret weapon. The thing that gets you points, kills or even wins in a tournament. By the way, I know this might sound a bit wishy-washy as I am the first one telling you about this, but if you do not want to try it out, just click off. I don't care. Go and watch some It's Charon videos on how to do quadruple edits if you think that this will make you a better fighter. Spoiler, it won't. Back to fighting IQ. A lot of pros have a unique skill that makes it possible for them to play situations more effectively, faster or differently than others do. Let's take Thomas HD, Vico and Peterbot as an example. Thomas has unreal aim, Vico has incredible speed and Peterbot has some cheats. No, joking, he's just different. All of them have some kind of superpower they are known for. What they also have understood is that this one thing that is unique about them is the thing they have to refine and improve even more, and that's what many people, especially competitive players that are in the early stages of competitive, get wrong. They think that they have to be the best at everything at once. The problem with that is that it is simply not possible and above all, pretty stupid, as you will never out-aim a Thomas whilst having as flashy mechanics as Vico. And even if you would have both of it, it wouldn't work out as Vico has a more mechanics based and Thomas a more aim based playstyle. It has no value to pursue perfection in every aspect of Fortnite's mechanics at once, as it doesn't work well together. I hope you get what I tried to teach you. It is quite hard to understand, but if you do, you just have understood the origin of fighting in Fortnite. So again, figure out what your strengths are and focus on building a playstyle that feels easy for you to play. Then practice getting good at exactly that. The better you can define it, the easier it will be for you to push it to the top, which means more 20 bombs, earnings, and a lot of bueno. Okay, so after you've understood the power and figured out your strengths, we can now focus on your weaknesses. Here it is the goal to get rid of most of them and improve so they stop holding you back and support your strengths to shine even brighter. Beautiful is that. Do you remember when I said that experience defines your level of fighting IQ? Well, I was not completely right about that. It is only true when you are aware of your shortcomings and actually improve on these. That's why I do not believe the 10,000 hour rule is a good one to follow when playing Fortnite. For those who have never heard of that rule, it basically means that you master a thing once you have spent 10,000 hours working on it. That means that you can put in the reps and after some times you will become good anyway. Bullshit. That's not how it works. If you continue doing a bad peek or edit repeatedly, it doesn't matter how often you do it, it will always fail because it is a bad peek. Iterating will only deepen deep behavior, which in this case is harming your chance to win the fight. So what's the correct way to practice? Start to learn from your mistakes. I know this might seem a bit boring, but I think you do not understand how detrimental it is for your growth to not learn from them. It's a night and day difference. The problem I had when I had around 5k PR was that I thought mistakes are bad and should be avoided at all costs. And while they should be avoided in tournaments, but everywhere else you should make mistakes. Let me say this again. You should make mistakes in practice. That's the only way you learn and therefore get better. So stop seeing mistakes as a red color, but start thinking about it with a good attitude. I like this quote from an author called Donna Cameron, and she says that mistakes aren't here to define you, but to guide you. Make this a life philosophy. To be honest, I only got to know this mentality after I quit playing competitive, and when I think about my career in retrospect, it would have definitely made getting better easier by an enormous amount. Another mindset that will help you to get better even faster is to take a positive lesson out of it and stop worrying about the initial mistake you made. And then try to never ever make it again in your life. Imagine you make the wrong decision and double pickaxe swing on a wall in the last game of a solo cash cup. The enemy edits on you and you die. As you just needed one more point to qualify for the finals, you're really pissed and sad for the next few hours and your confidence diminishes. Of course you will be pissed first, but then you should realize the lesson, which is never ever double pickaxe swing. Then instead of having sleep problems and suicidal thoughts that you choke the game, forget about it generally. The next time you're in that situation, you can avoid this crucial mistake, eventually kill the enemy and get into a new situation in which you might succeed or fail again. By that you level up step by step, as you will always get into new situations that will induce new mistakes to make. Let me ask you one question. What are 5 things that you are bad at? And probably you can't even name me 5 different things, as you have never thought about it. I could name you over 20 things instantly for me. Improving my fighting speed, stop making stupid edits, my long range AR aim, getting consistent with edits, improving my pump flicks. The list is endless. Does this, having a lot of weaknesses, mean that I am a bad player? No, not really. I would probably still 10-0 99% of my viewers in 1v1s. It just gives me things I can focus my attention and time on to make them less of a problem. I am sure that every pro is very aware of what he is bad at and practices it each and every single day to get better. Now you might say, well, I understood that I should lower my ego and start acknowledging my shortcomings, but how do I improve them? I'm glad you asked. The single most important thing is that you realize them, which you probably haven't done yet. So first of all, write down 10 things you are bad at. Again, go into your notes and just jot down things you wish to be better, you choked in a tournament before, or something you're pretty aware of being bad at. You can get creative there, and remember, it is no shame to have a huge list of things to improve. The more things you can come up with now, the faster you will outskill all the other ones who can't come up with one single problem, as they have too big egos to understand that they have zero earnings. After you have finished your list, I want you to hop on YouTube and check out how to do these things better. The better you educate yourself on the specific topic, the easier it will be for you to create an efficient habit in the beginning, which is worth to practice. For example, let's say you want to improve your edits. You normally play 1 hour of edit maps every single day. However, every time you do an edit, you wait an additional 0.3 seconds between selecting the tile and pressing your editing bind again. That's bad. No matter how much edit maps you do, you have ingrained this habit of waiting 1.3 seconds and will therefore never really become faster. The correct way to get better in that situation would be to figure out a way how you can get consistent with pressing the selecting bind and the edit bind at the same time, which will get these 0.3 seconds down to 0.1 or even less. That's good. This sometimes takes some patience, as you will probably have to do it a bit slower than initially, but it will make a difference in your skill 100%. Do yourself a favor and stop wasting time doing the same thing over and over again, and instead start to tense your brain muscles a bit and figure out how you can do it differently to make it more efficient, faster, or more intact with your style. Now for the end, I promise to give you some additional fighting strats for instant improvement. However, as this video is already longer than I thought it would, I decided to make a separate video only focusing on different fighting strats soon. Hope you vibe with that decision. I think understanding the topic of today's video will solve 90% of all your fighting struggles anyway, and as it was quite a lot, maybe rewatch it if you feel like you haven't got all the information. So if you still want to see such a video where I mainly focus on different fighting strats, let me know in the comments and I get myself cooking. With that in mind, I hope you have learned something. Share this video with a friend who might need it as well, or check out one of these videos if you want to get even better at the game. Enjoy your day if you're a pussy, and as always, peace out, bro.